Haha, let's get this party started.
High def with the proof.
Greasy Says.
All right, let me just clear something up right off the top, right? You can't be an island boy unless you're from an island boy. If you grew up on an island boy and you're not from the islands boy and you don't know any island boys because you didn't grow up on an island boy, well then you can't be no island boy unless you's an island boy. You damn jackass. Yo, welcome back to Greasy Says, y'all. Welcome back to Greasy Says. My name is Greasy, aka that whole thing, that whole meme or whatever you want to call it, is incredible to me. There's so many things hilarious about that shit. The thing that sticks with me the most is how catchy it is. That is like one of the best hooks I've ever heard in my life. I watched that video once. I was dumbfounded by it. I probably watched it again because I was so dumbfounded. And then 4 days later, I'm singing the shit in my head. I'm walking around. Island boy, it's a fucking island boy. I should put you in the sky. Would you keep that gun? Whatever the fuck that dude was saying. I was singing that shit walking around. So whenever that fucking song really dropped, if they ever make that shit into a song, that shit gonna sell off. I guarantee you, that's gonna be the biggest hit of next year. Or so they had to drop that shit in summer. Man, Chris D'Elia, good comedian, but now basically canceled guy. Made a hilarious, you should go check out his fucking TikTok or whatever his shit is on. He made a hilarious observation about them two dudes, the Island Boys. Was it Kodak something? I don't even know. Flo Kodiak, some shit like that. Anyway, hilarious. They could write a hook though. That boy could write a hook. They can't rap, but they could write a hook. Random thought. Should we put solar panels in cemeteries? I was driving by cemetery the other day, and it's like, I'm looking at this land. It's huge. Like, cemeteries are gigantic. I've been to one in New York. There's like a massive cemetery in New York. Sometimes I like to go, I'm fucking weird. Sometimes I like to go walking around in cemeteries during the day and shit. Not at night. I'm not a teenager, but during the day and shit, it's quiet. Everybody there is dead, so there's nobody to bother me. Nobody's coughing on me, sneezing on me and shit. Cemeteries are cool to me, right? So I'm driving by this cemetery, and I'm like, yo, all this real estate, all this space, everybody in here is already dead. There's no risk of danger to anyone. Why don't they put solar panels all over the fucking place in a cemetery? Right? Why don't they make all of the tombstones little mini solar panels? And basically every cemetery is a solar farm. You could make that shit dope too, because you could make one side a screen, right? Because let's face it, we gonna keep carving stone tombstones? We gonna keep doing that forever? We can't possibly do that forever. We can't. There's not enough marble. There's not enough fucking whatever they make, granite. They make, people need that shit for countertops. You can't be putting that shit just sitting out there in the rain for Grandpa Joe, right? So first of all, first move is we do OLED screens as tombstones now. One side is the screen, and you could put a picture of Uncle Joe on there. You could put hilarious quotes. You could, as younger people start dying, you could put out like, oh, here's their most viewed fucking YouTube video on their tombstone, playing on repeat forever. But on the back side of that, solar panel with a little motor in it that allows it to rotate depending on the azimuth or whatever you call that shit. I saw that on the white, like the white sheet for my fucking solar panels. The azimuth, right? Am I saying that correctly? So that it rotates with the angle of the sun as the sun moves through the sky. Boom. It's powering the whole neighborhood around the cemetery. And now you got these dope ass tombstones. I'm just saying, it seemed like a good idea. So if you know people in the local government, let's start petitioning for solar panels in cemeteries. It makes sense, right? If you think it don't make sense, let me know. By the way, this is Greasy Says. How long have I been going here? By the way, this is Greasy Says. This is my show. My name is Greasy, right? And this show is about, you wouldn't think so from the intro, but this show is about being a brown game developer, and it's about game development, and a lot of other things like my crazy ideas about cemeteries. So welcome to the show. Thank you to everybody who's been listening. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed, who's been pushing my shit, helping me repost stuff, commenting on social media. I appreciate all of you. I got some listener comments and stuff coming later. We're gaining traction. We're moving forward. I love it. Keep spreading Greasy Says. Keep making more greasy people out there. Follow me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram under Greasy Says. And I'm at M_CUE on Twitter. We still working on trying to get this shit on YouTube. I'm one guy. All right, I gotta take baby steps. I got a bunch of other shit going on. Anyway, welcome back to Greasy Says, yo. Episode what? What are we on now? Episode 17. I did 17 of these. This is fantastic. All right, so Halloween just finished. Happy Halloween. Happy belated Halloween, everyone. I hope it was spooky as fuck. I hope you got your candy. I hope you did all of the drugs that you needed to do and drank and had a great time and dressed up as a slutty lumberjack or whatever version of a slutty whatever you wanted to be. I'm very happy for you. So, in the spirit of Halloween, I gotta watch some scary movies. So I watched this movie a homie recommended to me, Veronica. I don't know if it's originally from Spain or if it's, I think it's from Spain. I remember looking at the dialogue options. I think Spain was the original. Shit was fire. Shit's about like this teenage girl who, is like a student at school and link up with some girls and they fuck with a Ouija board and dank shit starts happening. But yo, that movie was crazy. That shit was dope. I'm not gonna spoil anything. But it was a lot of fun. Amazing female lead character. Amazing. Flawed, realistic, just totally believable. Love that character. Props to them for writing a character like that. Well done. Well fucking done. All right. Any PC gamers out there? Any PC building nerds out there listening to this? You ever built your own computer before? Like I have many fucking times and wasted tons of money on water cooling and all kinds of shit and then swore that you wouldn't go back to water cooling because it's so fucking expensive and the payoff isn't worth it. And when you get leaks, it really fucking sucks and then you have to clean everything up and basically shut down your whole studio for like a fucking day. Are you like that? Are you that guy? Probably not. You're probably smarter than I am. Anyway, Asus, which is a famous PC parts manufacturer and basically one of the biggest parts manufacturers in the world, they released something that if you're a PC building nerd, you will appreciate. They made a quick release button for their graphics cards on the motherboard, right? On every motherboard, there's a slot, usually a PCI Express Gen 3 slot, or is it is it Gen 4 now? I don't fucking know. But there's a PCI slot, Express slot on there, and that's what you plug your graphics card into. Now, if you've ever built an ITX, which is a very small, compact build PC, you know that when you install your fucking graphics card and it's time to swap that motherfucker out, or you need to do some maintenance on that machine, you gotta reach down inside, basically shredding your finger on fans and heatsink grills and copper pipes. Shred your finger in order to attempt to push the button to release the graphics card so you can pull the fucker out. Asus turned around and said,
"That's fucking stupid."
I like, why do we have to have all these people shredding their fingers or jamming pens and pencils down on that fucking release knob in a motherboard? Why don't we just make a quick release motherboard? Quick release button on a motherboard. Brilliant. Asus, I fucking love you. Why did it take that long to do that, by the way? You know what I mean? Like they fixed how dumb CPU coolers are to put on with all the cool clips and stuff they have now. Why didn't they do this shit ages ago? I don't know. Sometimes really smart ideas don't occur to people until way later. You know what I mean? That is the thing that about tech and all that stuff. Sometimes the simplest solution and the best step forward is right in front of your face for years and you don't take it. And then one day some cat was like,
Yo, we should make sure that people don't fucking slice their hands up on our stupid graphics cards.
and then another person's like,
That's a pretty good idea. Fire that guy. I came up with the idea. I get a raise.
Speaking of raises, I'm all over the fucking map today. In case you couldn't tell, I'm all over the fucking map. All right? And I really don't care. Island Boy got me heated. I'm all over the fucking place. All right? Speaking of which, the Blizzy fucking saga continues. Activision Blizzard. Bobby Kotick reportedly takes a huge fucking salary cut, right? Until blah, 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 all these things are done. I'll go through it at some other fucking time, what all the things are, or you can go look it up. He's promising all kinds of shit, all kinds of changes in the organization. Some of the stuff I talked about, like pushing diversity, back in the Act Blizzy episode, I talked about they would try to like squash this whole thing by doing a series of like basically gestures that mean nothing and that will not be able to be tracked probably, but empty gestures. And he's promising these gestures and he's saying he's gonna cut his salary by a lot. Low-key, it's not really by a lot. Until all these issues are fixed inside of Activision. Really, any of y'all falling for that shit? Anybody out there dumb enough to fall for this shit? You really think fucking Bobby Kotick taking a pay cut is gonna do anything to Bobby Kotick and change anything about fucking Bobby Kotick's life? He just might not be able to buy that Epstein Island, the second one. He might not be able to get a second Epstein Island, but he still got one. You know what I'm saying? Like, makes no difference. The amount of fucking stock options that guy probably has. He's not gonna feel this shit. You know what I'm saying? His interest makes interest and shit. Like, banks are asking him to fucking put his money in there with them and shit. So that shit don't mean nothing. That's an empty gesture. And then Kotaku comes out and reveals that his salary is still like $875 fucking $1,000, man. Dude was making like 1 point something million before. So his pay cut really ain't no, I mean, you could there's at least 4 low-income families that you could give that money to and they'll be all right for a while. So he didn't take that fucking big of a cut. You know what I'm saying? So I call bullshit on all of that. And I'll come back and maybe go over what Activision and Blizzard said they want to do. But like, go read it for yourself. Go educate your fucking self about what they're saying, what they're doing. You know what I mean? That's the point of being greasy, is go out there and find the shit. You know what I mean? Bullshit. Still calling bullshit on all of that. But Call of Duty just came out, and I bet you they clock in mad numbers, and everybody's buying that shit up. You can't escape it, man. You cannot escape the evil. There's no way. You want to play Call of Duty? Well, then you gotta fucking make Bobby Kotick fucking stock options get better. Choose a side, motherfuckers. Choose a fucking side. Give me my key.
Today's key is...
Je suis en route pour le sommet,
If you have a key that you want me to do the show in, reach out to me on all the social media platforms that I listed. Tell me which key you'd love me to do the show in.
Question time.
Hey, Greasy. How do you talk to white people?
Maybe this is an ancient concept. Maybe this doesn't happen anymore because everyone's super woke and no one has preconceived notions about other races other than themselves, right? And we live in a fucking tropical paradise. As a black or brown person, or as an immigrant in America, have you ever had to talk to a white person? Have you ever had to adjust the way that you speak to be taken seriously by a white person? Have you ever wondered why the hell you need to do that? Let's explore.
Talking to white folks, it's easier than you think. Greasy gon' show ya, oh yeah.
As a youth, I came to the US in search of dreams, the American dream to be exact. My brain had been filled with terabytes of American entertainment, and I believed that this promised land was where everything was happening. If you weren't in America, you were missing out. When I got here, I was ready to blow the doors off and take my piece of that pie. But when I got to that door, there were some people guarding it. They look like me, fellow bipedal organisms, yes? Yeah, there's some subtle differences, but we seem pretty much the same. That was until I opened my mouth. Once I had opened my mouth, I realized we weren't the same. We didn't speak the same language. We didn't think the same way. And it was my responsibility to learn the language. It was my responsibility to learn how to talk to white people. As a brown game developer originally from another country, I can tell you that it's definitely harder for non-English speakers. Even for fluent English speakers with a thick accent, it's harder to be understood. It's harder to find people with the patience to listen to you. And thus, it's harder to manipulate people, which is something you need to do in order to achieve greatness in our capitalistic society. I mean, you can't bamboozle someone without the command of language. But even if you speak English, the way you speak English can really affect the opportunities that you may be able to get in gaming. Mannerisms, slang, and phrases from non-white cultures are often regarded as harsh or unprofessional by the mainly white population of these gaming companies. In fact, they're just foreign to white ears, which can feel scary, and white people don't like feeling scared. Fun fact, neither does anyone else.
Xenophobia, 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 xenophobia.
I'm scared.
Have you ever had to white out your voice in order to get a job, an interview, an opportunity? I know I have. Have you ever had to change the way you talk to make sure that people are listening to you instead of replaying a stereotype in their heads?
Don't think about NWA. Do not think about NWA. No Ice Cube. No MC Ren.
This is a real issue that Black, Brown, Asian devs deal with daily. We have to carefully craft what we say so that we gain that social standing before we even make a point or come up with an idea. Because the right idea said the wrong way won't seem like a good idea at all, especially when there's a bunch of opinionated nerds in a room together and you're the only brown one in there. Oh, what? You're post-racial? Okay, whatever, motherfucker. Accents, jargon, and phrases are extremely important in white culture, and even more important in game development, where egos can be, let's say, elevated. Here's how you talk to white people. Okay, masterclass on how to talk to white people. Thank them for no reason. Even if they haven't done shit. They showed up to the meeting late, no apology, and they still have their fucking sunglasses on. Thank that fucker for making the time to attend the meeting. Here's another one. Smile. Like, a lot. Smile a lot. White people love smiles. It makes them feel safe. It makes them think you like them. Show lots of teeth, you know? Lots of teeth. Practice in the fucking mirror if you have to. Black and brown folks are usually more reserved with the smiling shit. And I can tell you from personal experience that white people literally feel threatened by that and will shy away from you as a result. I don't know why, but it is what it is. Here's one. Small talk is king. It doesn't matter what the fuck the small talk is about, but keep that shit basic. No philosophy, no fucking politics, no discussions on racism. It freaks them out. Or it makes them lash out violently. Stick to the weather. Stick to SNL. Stick to pop music. Have a few white phrases in your arsenal like, I can't even, or have any weekend plans? Wherever possible, shorten phrases to acronyms. GTFO takes just as long to say as get the fuck out. It literally does. But efficiency be damned. We're trying to make strides here. We're trying to make friends. Call people chief. That's a good one. That one works wonders, actually. Chief. Especially for older white men.
Hey, Chief, how you doing? Hey, big man, did you lose weight? You look great.
Look, I know I'm talking shit here, and it sounds fucking ridiculous, but these are legitimate tactics to make your conversations with your white coworkers go better and yield juicier outcomes, I'm telling you. I once had an older dev tell me that I should use the words "I think" before I put forth any design idea. So let's say the phrase is, we should try to better tune the haptics on the controller for this segment of gameplay. That becomes, I think we should try to better tune the haptics on the controller for this segment of gameplay. Simple. I was so infuriated at the time that he thought that that little change in phrasing would make my idea seem better. I was fucking infuriated. I didn't want to believe that people were so hung up on the way I phrased things. But I tried it, and lo and behold, my ideas got more traction, and more people were calling me collaborative and not difficult. Get me? I think it had something to do with appearing more humble and with appearing less threatening. I think it has something to do with race and people's interpretations of words that come out of my face. I think it's unfortunate. I think it's bullshit. But he was right. It worked. Now, someday, I hope this advice won't be needed. We won't need to disguise our language, accents, and phrases. We won't be socially penalized for simply talking how we talk. I hope we all have mixed babies with each other and it becomes a great big beige world after all. Thanks for coming to this meeting.
Reflection.
Changing your voice is a real thing, y'all. Changing your voice is a real thing. I feel like I've experienced that on multiple levels in multiple layers in my life. Coming to the States, being an outsider, coming into the US, I had to change the way I talk. Usually I just talk like this. But, you know, back in the days when I was in to talk like this, right? But now I got to talk like this. It's a little switch. You know, I was watching enough fucking East Coast hip hop videos back in the days where I through osmosis, I guess, I learned how to speak like an American. And when you get into corporate America, in my case, corporate America, and you start dealing with more and more white folks in corporate America, they sort of expect their version of the American accent, which has a little harder R's and tends to be a little higher in the register. Sounds a little more chipper. You know what I mean? Y'all ever watch that movie, Sorry to Bother You? Fucking goddamn classic movie that's way out there, way ahead of its time. But that's the whole premise in the beginning of that movie, is the dude is able to get a job in telemarketing because he has the ability to change his voice into white voice. And he excels at his job because he can talk like a white person. You think this shit is an isolated, imaginary incident that this writer dude came up with? Nah, this is real shit. Black people have to do that shit all the time. You have a black homie who, when he at work, he sound one way, and when he out in the street, he sound a different way? That shit is real. The level of racism has been so deeply rooted that folks outside of the quote-unquote norm, outside of the white bubble, have to change even the way they speak in order to fit in order to pass. You know what I mean? This shit has been happening for fucking, I'm sure, decades, if not a century and some at this point. I'm sure dudes who was trying to come up as doctors and as scientists back in the fucking 40s and shit had to talk. I mean, they damn sure had to dress a certain way, right? And they probably had to talk a certain way. They had to do their hair a certain way. They had to disguise themselves. They had to be a chameleon. And so much about being Black, brown, Asian, non-white in America is about being a chameleon. And even in games, we have to be chameleons. It's unfortunate, but it is facts. Straight the fuck up and down.
I'm a chameleon. Come a chameleon. But my color don't change.
If you disagree with me, hit me up, Greasy Says. Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Tell me I'm fucking wrong. Tell me I'm doing this shit for no reason. And I would love to hear your side. Yeah. And that's what strikes me about the whole island boy thing. Island boy. That shit. Is them kids, those are white kids. Those are white kids. And they basically doing I know they don't mean to be doing blackface, but it's coming across that way. Because black culture has permeated all levels of society. It's the coolest fucking culture in America, period. Little white boys want to be black dudes. Know what I mean? They want to emulate that. I understand that. Nothing wrong with that. These youths don't know their history. They don't know that shit. So they just seeing what's cool, what's popping, and they're going to go fucking do that. So these kids are doing the same thing. You know, they getting tatted up head to toe. They got the hair that look like Kodak Black and shit. You know what I mean? I look at that and I'm like, damn, that like back in my days, I would have come and talked to you, bro. I would have either whoop your ass or I would have come talk to you and be like, dog, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you dressing like this? You look like a fucking idiot. You're not black. Why are you trying to look black? But at the same time, the point I'm making here is I sound white to appear white, like to fit in. To fit into where what I need to do, what I think I need to do in order to move ahead. That's what this kid is doing. He's being a chameleon. So, hey, oh shit, I gotta move this water bottle, man. I keep knocking this shit over. I gotta figure my shit out. For real. This is getting a little ridiculous. What was I saying? Right. So, island boys are being chameleons to fit into the world that they want to be a part of. Yes, it's annoying, but it's a necessary evil on their part. Same thing in games. As a brown developer, as a black developer, as I know personally, some Chinese developers who English is their second language, and they have, when you hear them speak English, you know they are trying to speak English. It's not fluent, it doesn't have the accent. You know what I mean? It's like one of those offensive sort of impressions of a Chinese person trying to speak English. And I've seen it happen where they're in a room with a bunch of people who are brainstorming and they come up with a point that is brilliant. It's brilliant, but the way they say it detracts from how brilliant the point is. I might be sitting there saying, yo, this dude has a really good point, but the way he said it, nobody in the room grokked that shit because it didn't sound like how they talk. So I take it upon myself to be like, yo, that person had a good idea. Listen to that idea again. Let me try to flip what he said into a way y'all motherfuckers are gonna understand so we could all get this good idea on the books. And I encourage all you cats out there who know how to speak white, who know how to pass and be a chameleon, help those who aren't there yet get their ideas heard if they're good ideas. Don't let them just fucking sink. Don't let them just fall in the quicksand. You know what I mean? Because it's isolating. Being like that is isolating. So reach out. Be the branch, yo. Pull them out the fucking quicksand. Serious, we gotta help each other out here. All right. I mean, I feel like this whole conversation about being a chameleon, about talking white, about fitting in, it can apply to so many things, y'all. You know what I mean? I mean, if I got a little heavy for you, that's how it gets sometimes on Greasy Says. It's not all jokes. It's not all fun and games. Sometimes we gotta get a little bit serious. So, but let's bring it back down. I got some listener comments, some really nice ones for y'all this week. Check this shit out. This person wrote to me on Instagram and says, "Hi, I like the podcast even if you hate rats." Sweaty smiling emoji guy. It's also going a long way in reminding me of the things I don't miss about games after 5 years away and look back with weird combo amounts of PTSD and rose-colored glasses. Even if I do miss working with a lot of the humans in that space. Heavy shit, right? Here he continues to say, your talk on side hustles definitely hit a lot of notes for me, since it was basically how I fell into game design from QA, but also how I balance work, a band, wrestling, journalism stuff, and other stuff that this person is doing. Anyway, hope you're good. I mean, shit. We're touching lives out here, people. What else we got? Oh, no. Then that person, we went back and forth in the DMs for a little bit. And this person said, I just haven't been on the road solo as much. And here I had a 4-hour ride and ground out about 5 of your episodes in reverse order. Pause. And then he follows up with, what I'm saying is you're getting binged. What? I'm getting binged, son. I'm getting binged, son. You know what that means? That means my voice is not annoying. So not annoying enough that you could listen to it for 4 hours straight in a car, in a small box. So if you, let's say you got kidnapped and you got put in a container and shipped to Siberia, if you had Greasy Says podcast on your phone, downloaded on your phone because you subscribed like a good greasy person, you wouldn't be bored on that trip to Siberia in that box because you got Greasy. You got me, Greasy, with you in the container. Listen. Gosh. All right. Next reader wrote in and said...
Reader?
Homie said, love the beat in the opening of the latest episode. Take him to outer space, homie. That's cool. I appreciate the shout outs on the music on the show. If you like the music on the show, let me know. If you think I should release, I've been thinking about this. If you think I should release like a little mini album of all the beats that are in a season, I was thinking about that. Would y'all cop that? Would you cop that? How much would you pay for these just like little beats that I have here on a record? Huh? Hit me up. Greasy Says, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, M_CUE on Twitter. At me, son. Another person writes, catching up on Greasy Says podcast, seeing an episode oldies. I think that was episode 16?
Actually 15.
About getting older in the gaming industry, and here we go. Another same person says, sell me a Do These Thumbs Even Work Gandalf t-shirt. Huh. Best believe Teespring is gonna get a couple of hits from me. You know, I gotta make t-shirts. I got Kill Crunch, that's one I wanna make. And apparently, this person would buy a Do These Thumbs Even Work Gandalf t-shirt. But about that same oldies episode, this person writes, this episode should be a required listen for everyone in the industry. Also, I agree with you wholeheartedly about shorts, you crusty old crab. Now listen, I appreciate the comment, the nice comment about everybody listening in the industry, but take it easy on the people with the shorts. You know what I mean? People like shorts. Yes, men do not have conventionally attractive legs. Usually, unless you're like a swimmer or a fucking marathon runner, your legs kind of look like shit. They're hairy, they're dumpy, they probably smell bad. You don't really wash them because they're your legs. All the shit, when you take a shower, all the shit from above, from head all the way down, ends up on your legs. And not a lot of people take the time to scrub their legs off. I get it. Dude legs are gross, but shorts can be comfortable, guys. And isn't life about comfort? Huh? Anyway, Leb, Sean, Adam, thanks for writing in. Thanks for sharing Greasy Says. Thanks for talking about Greasy Says on social media. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the back and forth, the DMs. Love all that shit. Keep them coming.
Medicate, meditate.
Time for a gratitude exercise. Number one, what am I grateful for? Number one. I'm grateful for therapy. I'm grateful for therapy. Opening my mind, digging up what's inside of me. I'm grateful for therapy. Number two, I'm grateful for working back. Cause when you throw your back out as an old fuck, it really hurts, it really slows you down. So I'm glad that I have a working back when I do. Really slows you down. Number 3, I'm grateful for my family. Because without my family, I wouldn't even be me. Oh no. I'd be somebody else. Some other kind of fucking. Who the fuck wants to know that guy? Not me. Number 4, I'm grateful for weed, herb, marijuana. Weed, herb, and marijuana. All I wanna do is smoke weed, herb, and marijuana. And number 5, I'm grateful for bits of silence. The moments in between. The stuff Miles Davis loved. Hey, greasy. We did it, y'all. We got to the end of another episode. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to me. I'm great. I keep doing these things. You get to listen to them. I get to know that you listen to them via stats, via the Buzzsprout site. It makes me feel good. We're all winning. We're all fucking winning. You know what I'm saying? Thank you to everybody who's been writing in. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. We're always going to just keep pushing forward and growing. Looking forward to the next episode and the episode after that. Link me if you want on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook under Greasy Says, at M-Cue on Twitter, M-Cue on Soundcloud and Bandcamp, where I actually make loot. If you buy my records, go buy my records if you like me, if you dig in the vibe, if you like the music. Also, what else? SoundCloud M-Cue. Does anybody listen to SoundCloud anymore? Somebody said to me like years ago, is like SoundCloud's already dead. That was years ago. They were saying that shit. I don't agree, but that's what they were saying. Anyway, reach out to me. Let's keep this action going. Let's keep the back and forth going. Keep the questions coming. Keep the comments coming. And spreading that greasiness. If you see somebody, you know, they look like they're a little too ashy, just get a handful of greasy and grease them up. You know, within reason. Don't be fucking weird. Don't make it weird. Ask for consent before greasy and a motherfucker, okay? Greasy people! Thanks for coming out. Remember, like, subscribe, comment, give me feedback. Tell me to go fuck myself if you want. I don't care. And until next time, it's me, Greasy. And I'm checking out with the room key. Laters.